If you're wishing to start seeds under lights, grow lights inside the house, and you've never tried it, I'm going to do a quick run through of how easy it can be. It's not scary if you have the room for some lights. These are big, obviously, but I'm going to show you how I do this. I've used this same system for more than 20 years. I got this light system I got from Burpee, like before Amazon was even a thing. I think you can still get it from them, but we're gonna go to the store real quick and get some pots and some soil that I need, bring them home, and then I will walk you through how I start everything and get it under the lights and maintain it until we take these out and harden them off to put them in the garden. And they will make a stop in the greenhouse before that too, but you can do this without a greenhouse because I have for most of the last 20 years until last year. I've only used a greenhouse for 1 year. So I've had only this to get me gardening in zone 5B for more than 20 years. So let's check it out. And I'll also show you, if we can get to it, the way that I store my seeds. I found this really cool trick for storing seeds. You can get these on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for the ones I have. But these are for photo storage, but it turns out that if you label them, they're great for all kinds of things. They come with all these little, you know, the size to put a 4x6 photo in, which is just the right size to put seeds in. So, and then I just label them with whatever's in the thing, and then you have all your seeds stored. And obviously some things like corn, I buy corn in bulk, like lots of seeds, plus I save lots of seeds. So I have those in Ziploc bags separately. But for my basic seeds, this is how I keep track of what I have. So I know we're gonna probably start basil, peppers, and broccoli and cabbage. I'm gonna wait a little bit and I'll be starting those in the greenhouse. So today we're just starting things that I start extra early under lights. This will all go outside, and I'll start the squash and things in the greenhouse in a little bit later. Tomatoes we want to start, and I don't need tomatillos because I have lots of salsa still on hand. Welcome to my potting shed, or sometimes as we call it, the laundry room. I brought in all of my trays that go in my light system, and I just brought these up from the garden shed. So I'm going to give them a quick scrub in my sink, which I put in myself. You can see in the video up here. And then I'll show you what we're going to be planting, and you're probably going to see cats here and there. Hi, Lizzie. Sorry, they're not going to stop, so we'll just call them an assistant. So it is March 5th right now. Our last frost date for this area is usually the first week of May, but I have seen snow the first week of May here. And we have kind of a microclimate anyway, so I know, because I've kept records for the last 24 straight years for our first frost, last snow, last cold date, first cold night. And I know from experience that we always have a cold night, usually around the first week of June. I know that if I'm putting out things that are tender, that like cucumbers, basil, my tomatoes will usually be all right, but anything very tender, I don't put it out in the actual garden like, okay, you're free to grow, until literally June 10th or beyond. Like usually Father's Day is my safe date, which sounds so late. I'm sorry for all you people who live in the South, but that's what we deal with. We still have to start things early because we can also, on the other end, we can have frost as early as Labor Day. So, and sometimes as late as November. So it's a wide range, and you may lose your vegetables if you don't plan ahead. I'm so sorry, I'm also sort of losing my voice. So we're doing this though, this is what I'm doing today, so we are going to film it. You'll have to just ignore the scratchy voice, I'm sorry. This is my little setup. There's my sink. And I've got peat pots I just bought, which I probably didn't need, but I'm gonna use new ones. I have 2 of these, and I have bigger potting soil bags out in the garage still. And I've got my seeds here that we're gonna be digging through and seeing what I wanna plant. We're gonna do marigolds for sure, snapdragons for sure, because these take a long time to get up and going. And I'm not sure what else we'll be doing, but definitely these are seeds I've saved from ours. And then we are for sure going to be digging into some medicinal herbs, because if you saw our tear out video last year, we tore out we tore out all of our raised beds with herbs, and we tried to move some of them and heal them in. But if they didn't survive, I'm going to have to see if I have seeds. I know I need new sage this year, and we are for sure going to do tomato and bell pepper. Okay, clean piece of paper, starting new, 2025. Here we go. All right, we've got these clean. And I don't know what I would do if these trays ever wear out, because they came with the light system I have. So they fit in there and they hold, you know, a perfect amount of pots. And I would like to be able to make some notes, but Molly's camping out. So what I always do, because I have a lot of varieties of tomatoes and more than one variety of some of the things I'm going to be planting besides tomatoes, but lots of tomatoes. So I will start with them first and see how many of each variety that we're going to plant. And I know I usually do about a dozen tomatoes. So here is my tomato. And these are seeds I saved. And don't be afraid to use seeds well after the date. These are from 2015, and I still grew these last year. So don't throw out your seeds. Give them a try. I will plant them literally until they just don't germinate. So what do we have here? These are from 2022. So I'm going to just go through here and see what we've got. Look how old these are. And I still had these last year in the garden. These are 2013. So don't give up on your seeds is all I'm saying. You don't need to go buy new seeds every year. And you know, when you buy a pack of tomato seeds especially, you're not going to plant all of them. Keep them. So we're going to do, and I keep track of how many, and then these will all go in the computer. Once I'm done here, I'll just scribble notes, and then it goes in the computer in a chart that I keep. And I don't bring the computer in here with me just because I don't want to get water and dirt on it. So we always just do one pear tomato because I don't eat a lot of those. Yellow pear. Cherries, we do one. And I'll keep track of the actual variety. And in the computer, I actually keep track of what year the seeds are from, just so I know that that did work. We have a lot of Amish paste. I don't know what I was thinking there. Good Lord. We had good luck with these Lakotas last year too, so I'll probably do more than a few of those, and we have lots of them. Brandywine, because yes, they're the most delicious. And be sure when you get these, get organic and get heirloom seeds, because then you can save the seeds like we do and put them in a packet for next year. All right, we've got our seeds kind of sorted out, and I've rinsed off some of the labels that I can reuse, because you can reuse those. I don't rebuy those unless I have to. I usually open the potting soil up and put it carefully in the sink, but you don't want to get dirt washing down your sink, into the drain. And these, I like the little peat pots just because you can, at the end, when you're ready to plant these, they can just go right in the ground. What I usually do, and what I like about these trays, is you can fill them from the bottom with water. So normally what I'll do is fill these with soil, and you can just reach in the bag and just kind of shake it down. I don't get too fancy with it. Put those in and just fill, and I'll fill this whole thing. And then you can take a picture, because you've got a tray that's got a solid bottom, and you can just pour the water in. So I usually just leave myself a little crack where I can add water right into this tray. And once these are full, what I like to do is get the water down in there and soak it up from the bottom up through the soil. So I'm going to go ahead and get soil in all of these, and I'll show you what I mean. And then once the soil is damp, that's when I add the seeds. I don't necessarily add seeds to dry soil when I'm doing it this way. I like the soil to already be damp. And I would put my camera somewhere else, but unfortunately, because we're in the laundry room and I need to fire my set director, I can't show you the rest of the whole view of this room because there's laundry and bits and pieces of things in life going on everywhere outside the camera. Which if you have a laundry room, no one's laundry room looks perfect all the time. I just don't buy that. All those videos where they look like everything's perfect all the time is such a lie. Such a lie. It's not. Sometimes you'll see stuff in the background here that's just life, because it's life. And then sometimes I catch things. I should do a thing where there's like a look for the thing in the, look for the funny thing in the background and see if you can find whatever it was. One time I filmed a whole video in the kitchen, and after I got done, I realized that the whole kitchen cabinet door behind me was open. Yes. Okay, so those are full with soil. And what I'm going to do, move the soil out from under the faucet, bring in my handy garden pitcher. So what I do is just take the water, and I'll usually just lift one out when it's dry like this and just fill. And I like to fill it fairly full because the pots are going to soak up the water because they're peat. And then the soil needs to soak up the water. You can almost see these floating. They're so light. So I'm going to let those sit for a while, and we'll come back and check on them as they soak. See, they're already starting to absorb that water. So we'll come back and wait until these are ready to be planted and add some seeds. So I've gone ahead and labeled some of the labels that I'm going to want to use here right now. And you can see the soil is starting to look damp. in the top of these. So I'm going to go ahead and start planting probably in this one and this one, and I'll just show you how I do this. And what I like to do with any of these like this, especially where the soil kind of has settled down a little bit in these pots, I'll just put usually about 3 seeds per pot or something like it. But in kind of a pattern that I know, so I can kind of pay attention to how they're going in the pots. Like kind of it's a triangle, so I know if they come up, or if they don't, I know if I'm missing something. And I'll usually put usually about 3 seeds per pot. But it depends on, you know, kind of how they fall out of your hand, I guess. And the other thing that I like to use for this exact time of the planting is just a spray bottle that you can get at any hardware store. And what I do is I'll put my tag, and since I know there are 6 of these, I'm going to put it here facing out, because when these are in the tray upstairs, they're going to face out and you'll be able to read them from that side. So what I like to do is just give them a little mist just to kind of settle the seeds kind of onto the soil underneath them, or kind of a heavy mist, we'll call it. And then I take some dry soil from just in the bag that was left. This way you're not poking seeds down in the soil or doing any of that. I just top them up with a little covering of that extra, you know, however much, if it's 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch or however much. Some seeds say lightly cover or barely cover, and then you can press that down. And I like to give them a little press. And this water's soaking up really quick now. It's almost gone in the bottom of that. So I'm going to go ahead and add more water underneath there. But that is all I do for my peppers and tomatoes and all of these. I'm just going to go ahead and put more peppers back here. So I kind of keep them together. So we've got bell peppers, which are just like California Wonder. And we're going to do 9 of those there. I'm going to just mist the soil a little bit. And these are my 2021 seeds that I saved from our peppers. So this will give us a chance to see what the germination rate is like too. And same thing, I'll just go along and put a few, and I have a lot of these seeds, so I'm not going to be too stingy about how many go. The Romanians were a little bit more rare, the seed quantity that I have, but I have lots of these. And since they're my seeds, and I'm always kind of, you know, worried that they won't germinate or lower germination rates, which I've always found to be not true. Usually I have higher germination rates with the seeds I've saved from the garden. Here's my bell peppers, and then I give them just a mist just to get them damp. Then I take a handful of the potting soil and just sprinkle it. I mean, there's not really I don't know, there's probably a million ways to do this, so do whatever works for you. But this is just how I've done this like every year of my life as far as I can remember. As long back as I can remember. I've been planting like this since, oh gosh, I started, my first garden where we had a garden was when we were first married, probably like 1992-ish, second year we were married. So anywho, old Aunt Steph, this is how I do it. We're gonna add water to the bottom because at this point from now on, I don't want this water level to drop much under about maybe a 1/2 inch of water in the bottom, maybe a little bit less than a 1/2 inch in the bottom of this, because you want it to be constantly wicking water up into these pots as these germinate. So what I'll do is mist these pretty heavy right now, because I want and the reason I mist these instead of pouring water on them, because the stream of water, when you do that, is too strong and you risk displacing the seeds or kind of floating, you know, they kind of float away. You can see I used that for crookneck squash one year. I recycled them. So I just use, at this point from now on, until the plants are up and going, I'll always just water from underneath. And when they're germinating, I just only ever use a spray bottle like this. So I want that soil to be fairly wet on top of them as they sit for this first few hours. And then the water's coming up from the bottom as well. But the main trick, do not skip this step. Take this. I don't use press seal because I want to see through it, and I find that press seal stuff is a little bit more opaque. And this is what I'll do until I see seeds germinating. It just helps, makes like a little greenhouse effect right in there. I just take a piece of clear plastic wrap and put it right over those. So see how nicely you can see through and you can see what's happening? But you'll see over the hours, you'll see this start to develop condensation up under it. So it's just a little, you know, redneck greenhouse effect, I guess, but it works for me. The trick of this that I always run into when I do these upstairs is that I find myself carrying this and it's pretty heavy, and if it has water in the bottom, you know, you're trying to balance a tray with water and soil. I've never dropped one on the stairs yet in all the years. So we're just going to go with that's never going to happen. It's not a thing. But there, so that is what you'll see when we get these settled upstairs. And then you've got your little labels there. So now I need to just finish doing the rest of these, and then we'll get these carried upstairs, and I will show you what the light setup looks like upstairs. So as you can see, I have there's a double set of lights on this, and I've got 5 of my 8 trays are already in here. I'll be planting more as the garden season progresses. So what I do is come up here every day, and you can adjust these as well with these chains. So as the plants grow, you start with them very close. This is like, I don't know, 2-inch gap, just until I start to see things germinating, and then I'll pull the plastic and let them just be open to the air. But I come up here every day and make sure that we keep a water level in there so that these pots are always wicking that moisture up from the bottom. And then I'll also pull back the plastic now and then and just mist the top of this soil with some mist from a spray bottle. I don't use hard overhead watering just so I don't dislodge the seeds. And then you can see this is just this depth right here for the seeds to get going. Once the plants are up and growing and the plastic is removed, you just change the chain and you can adjust these lights up. As the plants grow, you'll keep the light, I usually keep it about 2 inches above the plants that are growing. And the plants will stay inside under these lights until the weather is warm enough for me to harden them off. In prior years, that meant leaving them in here until warm enough to go outside. So I would have tomatoes that were clear up to here before I had the greenhouse. Last year, I did this inside, and then we moved things to the greenhouse and hardened them off in 2 stages. But you can do your garden with just lights inside and move them right out to the garden if you harden them off in those last couple of weeks before putting them outside. I hope this inspires you to try your hand at starting your own seeds under lights inside. You don't have to start with something quite so big, but give it a try with something small, and you can see how satisfying it is to start your seeds early and know that you're getting a head start on your garden. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.